Hey, I'm Chef Rich, a classically trained chef, author, and award-winning culinary educator. With over 2 decades of experience, I've discovered that food is more than just food. It's our greatest medicine. But here's the truth. There is no quick fixes, magic pills, superfoods, or diets that work. Welcome to a different kind of cooking show. Our mission? To inspire, educate, and prove that getting healthy doesn't have to be complicated or expensive. I'll share tips on saving you money at the grocery store, saving you time in the kitchen, and creating meals that everyone will eat. I'll expose the lies about food, reduce the stress about what's for dinner, and remove the struggle of getting healthy. If you give me a chance, I promise, we'll always make it fun, easy, and delicious. Now let's get cooking. Hey, Chef Rich here, and I'm so excited to share with you my new cookbook. Now I have to say, it's more than just a cookbook. It's a starting point to unlocking and using the amazing power of food as medicine. Now, besides having the great recipes from season 1 and 2 of our TV show, One Plate Kitchen, it also contains our One Plate 5 Bs. Now, these 5 Bs are special. We created them to be impactful and make your health journey easier, less stressful, and successful. They'll serve as encouragement, motivating and inspiring you to embrace a lasting and realistic health journey. They're going to support you when you need it and push you forward when you're ready. So how do you get your copy? Go to our website to our shopping page and look for our e-cookbook. Yes, it is an e-book, and we did this for 2 reasons. Number 1, the cost. By doing an e-cookbook, we can keep the cost way down. Now you're going to get all these incredible life-changing techniques and tools for less than one fast food meal. Number 2, when you download it, you can bring it everywhere you go. Whether you're shopping at the grocery store or talking to your friends about healthy foods, we're there with you. It's like taking me everywhere you go. Now, we understand that the path to building healthy habits is not a one-size-fits-all approach. That's why everything we do is designed to meet you exactly where you're at. We're going to encourage you when you need it the most and then challenge you when you're ready to push forward. Whether you're striving to lose weight, improve your health, or just get a sense of balance mentally, emotionally, and physically, we're here for you. So why wait? None of us are promised tomorrow. So take control today and act now. God bless, and I'll see you in the kitchen. Hey, I'm Chef Rich, and welcome to One Plate Kitchen, where we do 3 things. We save you money at the grocery store, we save you time in the kitchen, and we use food as medicine to make delicious meals that are easy, fun, and healthy. So today, we're gonna be baking. One of my favorite things to do. Now you'll see some chefs either are culinary and they cook really well, and some chefs are bakers and they bake really well. All right, one of the things that I love to do is I love to be able to do both. I mean, I love to cook all the time. I mean, it's one of my passions, but I also love to bake. I love to bake breads. And today we're gonna be doing some cornbread, one of my favorite things to do. But we're gonna be taking it a little step further. We're gonna do 3 types of cornbread. We're gonna do a jalapeno and cheddar. We're gonna do a corn and scallion. And then we're just gonna do a plain, delicious cornbread. All right, now since you know what we're making, let's take a look at the stars of the show, our ingredients. So, what are we using today? So today we have some milk that we'll be using. Now, if you don't want to use milk, you could use water if you wanted to. All right, these are interchangeable. It's not going to be as flavorful. Obviously, the milk gives you a little bit more fat in there, so it's going to be a little more flavorful, but you definitely can use it. We have some oil. We have some melted butter, unsalted melted butter, and that's important because we're going to add salt to it. And you'll see with baking, if we add even a little too much salt, you'll be able to taste the difference. So we want to be careful. It has to be unsalted butter. Now we have some jalapenos here, fresh jalapenos. How many you want to add or how spicy you want to make it is totally up to you. I'm going to show you today how we'll get some heat, but it's not going to be super spicy. All right, we're going to get rid of all those seeds. We have some cheddar cheese mix that we have right there. Again, you can use whatever cheese you wanted to. We have an egg. We're always going to show love to our frozen friends, so we have some frozen corn, some sweet corn today. All right, we're using that. We have some beautiful scallions that we're going to be using the green parts only, not the whites, for this. We have some flour here. If you wanted to use a whole wheat flour, you definitely could. Is it going to change the flavor profile? Yes, it will. All right, if you wanted to do it, you definitely can, but I'm going to tell you, yeah, it will change the flavor profile, so you want to be careful with that. All right, so we're just going to use some regular AP flour. Now here we have some baking soda, baking powder, and we have everyone's best friend, our herb salt. Now, I know you didn't know that. You can use herb salt for baking dishes. Of course you can. Remember, it's going to give you the flavor of salt that you need, of course, but it's also going to give you a little bit extra flavor with all our herbs that we put in there. So definitely use it for baking too. And then we have some sugar and we have some cornmeal that we're going to be using because it is cornbread after all. So very, very important. Now, since you know all the stars of the show, we only got one thing left to do. Let's start baking. All right, first thing we're going to do is we're going to get all our dry ingredients. Now, this kind of baking is really simple. There's little things that we want to be careful with, and as we go through this, I'll tell you where you want to be careful. Because if we overmix this or we overwhip that, there's a real problem that what could happen is our cornbread won't rise. It'll stay really dense, and that's not what we want. We want something that's light and fluffy when it's all done baking. So the way we do this is we're going to get all our dry ingredients, and I'm going to get that into my container. So I get all the dry ingredients here. I'm going to get my chemical leaveners. Now these are called chemical leaveners. All right, so we have baking powder, baking soda, and then we have some salt. Baking powder, baking soda are going to give us that rise that we're looking for. So we just want to sprinkle all that in. I have my sugar that we're going to add to this. And then we have our cornmeal that we're just going to add to this as well. So now we got all that added. Perfect. Now I'm just going to take my whisk and I just want to incorporate everything. All right, why is this crucial? You'll see some recipes will call for sifting flour. You can definitely sift this all together. Why is it so important? Is it for air? Yes and no. All right, what this part does right here, what we're going to do really take some time and really mix this, is it incorporates all our ingredients together, all our dry ingredients. So it takes my chemical leaveners that I just put in there, and it kind of separates them. It spreads them out all over the place. The more I mix in here, before I add any wet ingredients, the better it's going to be. All right, the more incorporated it's going to be, which will mean once I get my wet ingredients in here, the less mixing I have to do. When we bake, especially with this kind of like quick breads, these are called quick breads, I want to make sure I mix it as little as possible. If I over mix it, what happens is I don't get that rise. It gets very, very dense, and it's not what we're looking for. Or we want to have something that's really light and fluffy. All right, so I just want to make sure this is mixed in really well. So I say, okay, that looks good. All my ingredients are mixed in. Now I'm going to switch. I'm going to put this over here, let this sit. Now I'm going to get all my wet ingredients and just mix those all together. So it's a really easy thing to bake. So butter goes in. I'm going to get some of my oil in there. I'm going to mix my milk in there as well. And I'm going to get my egg cracked in there. Now what we want to do here is just really mix this in well. Now once I get that mixed in, I'm done. I'm going to add other ingredients to this. So before I mix these in, because once I get these mixed in, it's kind of like, okay, we got to go. We got to get this moving. All right, I won't have time to cut my other ingredients because I want to get them mixed in and then in the oven as quick as possible. So before I mix these in, I'm just going to set this aside right now, keep them separate, and I'm just going to cut some of my ingredients up. So the first thing, jalapeno. So I'm going to take my jalapeno, cut it down that way. Now the spicy part of a jalapeno is in the seeds themselves. All right, so I want you to come in here and take a look at this. You see all this seeds that are in there? That's the spicy part. All right, we're gonna get some good flavor and heat, a little bit of heat off the pepper itself, but all the fire is going to come from these seeds. All right, so what we can do here is I'm just going to take this and just cut this out. So I just take my knife, I go around, then I can just kind of dig it through there and take all these seeds out. All right, I don't want that. All right, I can take the back of my knife actually and also scrape out all the seeds. All right, same thing to this one. I just take it, cut that core piece out. And then I can just peel it out with the back of my knife to get all that out. Now we have all of that spicy part. We can kind of just get rid of it. All right, we don't want that. Now, let me tell you a little story about cutting jalapenos or any kind of spicy pepper. Working in the restaurant, when I first started, I didn't know much about peppers and jalapenos. I mean, I knew about them obviously, but I didn't really know much about it. I was still pretty new in the kitchen. So I was cutting some, I think it was like a Thai chili that we were using for some dish. Super hot, really, really hot. So I cut them up, got them all done. And it wasn't just one, I was cutting up like, I think it was like a bag of it, maybe a pound or 2 pounds of chilies for the whole entire night. Didn't have gloves on. And one of the things I did was I touched like my face and I started to scratch my eye because I had an itch on my eye. And I found out pretty immediately that that was a huge mistake. All right, because I didn't wash my hands yet. I still had like a lot of that chili oil on my fingers. And then when I went to rub my eye and scratch my face, it took like maybe 15 seconds to find out that that was a huge mistake. It started to burn like crazy. So I had to run to the bathroom and wash my face with cold water to make sure I got all that out. So needless to say, it burnt for the whole night. But I did learn my lesson. I never made that mistake again. All right, so we have our jalapenos all cut up. All right, they're looking nice. That's perfect. So I'm going to get that, move that aside. So that's ready to go. All right, now what I'm going to do is get my scallions. And I'm going to cut these up. Now for these, all we're using is the green part, not the white. All right, so we're just going to use the greens. And I cut up my jalapenos pretty small. And I'm going to do the same thing with my green onion. I'm going to make sure I cut these up pretty small. Perfect. So I got both halves done that had to be cut. And then I have the other halves over there that don't have to be cut. Now, rule number 2. First, we already learned rule number 1, don't touch your eye or anything after you cut chilies or any kind of pepper. Rule number 2, you want to make sure your oven is on and waiting for you. All right, so if you take a look at our oven, we already had it running once. So I'm just going to get that going and just let it go again. All right, it's set at 375 for about 20 minutes. I want to get it hot. One of the things that we don't want is to have a cold oven. And then when we put our baking products in there, it has to wait to heat up. All right, so you want to make sure your oven is waiting for you. All right, now inside my oven, I already have my pans that are ready. It's up to you if you want to start with them hot or cold, all right? What's the difference? If I start with them cold, the crust of it will be a soft crust. All right, the crust of my cornbread will be a relatively soft crust. If I put them in the oven and I get them hot, and then I pour my batter in, the crust will start to cook quick, and it'll give you a kind of like a crispier edge to it. All right, I love that crispy edge. I love it on cornbread. I love it on brownies. That's like the best part of everything, is that edge that gets a little bit crispier than everything else. All right, so that's gonna be the difference right there. However you want to do it, that's totally up to you. All right, so we have these. Now I'm gonna start to add my And I can just make a hole right here. You want to make sure you get it all in there, all at one time. So we want to make sure, because we added some cold milk to it, sometimes the butter will start to stiffen up again. So we just want to be careful with that. Okay, now once we get it all mixed in, it's crucial. I don't like to use a whisk at this point. What I like to do is just use either a spoon or a rubber spatula, because now I can control how much I mix. The only thing I want to do here is just get everything incorporated. That's it. I just want to make sure it's all incorporated. I don't want to spill anything like that. And this is how I like to do a lot of my baking, whether I'm doing cookies, or I'm doing brownies, or I'm doing like muffins or any kind of quick bread. I always like to use a spatula to mix everything up. Because I know this way, I'm not gonna over mix it. If I over mix it here, I can ruin it. Make sure, and you can see right here, that everything, I'm looking around and what I'm looking for is if I see any dry flour. I don't see any dry flour in there. So I know, perfect. This is all mixed in. Perfect, it's ready to go. All right, so now I'm gonna get my pans out. Now I'm using non-stick pans. Ooh, they're hot too. I'm gonna move this over. Now what I'm gonna do is just start to fill this up. I'm gonna do the first one plain. Now I'm using non-stick pans. So we'll fill it up about halfway. All right, I'm gonna get the other one going. Again, fill that up about halfway. Now for this one, I'm gonna add some of my corn. Then I'm just gonna take some more and just put it right on top. Then I'm gonna do the third one just like the same way. So we'll fill this one in. I'm gonna get some jalapenos. Now how much jalapeno? It's totally up to you. You want it spicy? I like it, that contrast, because you're gonna get some sweetness from the bread itself, the cornbread itself. Then you're gonna get a little bit of bite from the jalapeno. Then we're also gonna add some cheese to this one. So we'll mix it in. I like it cheesy too. No one has ever complained about something being too delicious. Now I can take my spoon and I'm just gonna mix this in. I just wanna mix in the corn and the scallions all in there. And the same thing with the jalapenos and the cheese. I'm just gonna get in there and just mix it in, just so it's all incorporated. Now we'll get this 375-degree oven for about 20 minutes. All right, we'll be back in 20. Let's clean up. That looks so good. Hey, Chef Rich here, and I'm super excited to tell you about our incredible One Plate Cooking Club. Get ready for live, interactive classes every single week. And guess who's gonna be cooking with you? Me. I'm gonna share easy to follow tips and techniques for creating mouth-watering, healthy meals that not only will satisfy your taste buds, but but are also gonna be nourishing to your body. And the best part, you can join right from the comfort of your own home kitchen using any mobile device. It's like having a personal cooking class with me in your home. By becoming a member, you're gonna get 3 things along with some incredible meals. Number 1, you're gonna learn how to save money at the grocery store. Number 2, you're gonna save time in the kitchen. And number 3, you're gonna understand the value of using food as medicine and be able to easily apply it to your daily lives. And it's gonna be simple, stress-free, and I promise it's gonna show great benefits. So how does it work? Go to our website, to our Cooking Club page. Find the class date that you want, buy your ticket, and you're in. When we go live, we'll send you a link. All you do is press that link and enjoy. It's really that easy. Now we understand that the path to building healthy habits, it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. And that's why everything we do is designed to meet you exactly where you're at on your health journey. We're gonna encourage you when you need it, and we're gonna push you forward when you're ready. Whether you're striving to lose weight, improve your health, or just get a sense of balance, mentally, emotionally, and physically, we're here for you. So why wait? None of us are promised tomorrow. So take control today and act now. God bless, and I hope to see you in the kitchen. So the timer just went off and it smells incredible in here. I wish you could smell it. Now I took one out already, only because this one was our plan. So it had no other ingredients in there, so it was just straight batter. So we had the other ones in there, because remember we added more ingredients to it there, and then we added a little bit more batter. So they stayed in there for another maybe 5 or 6 more minutes. But the timer just went off for them, so let's take a look at those. Oh my goodness. Look at these. All right, what we're looking for is when we feel it, all right, it feels nice and firm, and you can tell these feel firm to the touch. They're not like super dense, you know, but you can tell all the inside is already baked. Now, what I like to do with these is get them right out, and we're gonna get them on our cooling racks. First thing I want to do though is just put them out here. So we're gonna let these cool in the containers for about 5 minutes. Now I like to cool them in a container just so they can start to set. If I was to take this out now while it's still super hot, there's a good chance that it can just kind of collapse on me. So I want to be very, very careful with this. Just let it sit for 5 minutes. You have to fight the urge to get in here and start eating right away. I know it smells incredibly good. Now, once that 5 minutes is up, what we'll do is we'll take them out of these containers, like this one. This one I pulled out a little bit early. It's still warm, but we'll take it out of the container, and oh my goodness, look at that. And we'll just let it sit there and just cool off the way it is. All right, I want to let these sit for another 5 minutes before I start taking those out. All right, ready? So it's been a couple minutes already, so let's take a look at these now. Now it's still going to be hot, so we want to be really careful with these. So I'm going to take them out of the containers. Look at that. And we'll just let them sit here. So again, we'll look at this. Oh my goodness, look at the color on that. And you can feel that it's got a little bit of a crispness to it, and that's because we heated these up first. Remember, if you want to get it crispy on the outside, you'll just put these in your oven and let them warm up first before you put your batter in there. Now this works even better if you're using cast iron containers. Like if you have a cast iron pan, definitely throw that in the oven, let it sit in there for a good 30 minutes before you put your batter in there, and I promise it is going to be the most incredible crust you've ever had. So now we have to fight the urge to start cutting into this. I promise you, if I start cutting into it while it's hot, it's going to crumble on you. It's just going to all fall apart. If we just let it cool to room temperature, which is going to take maybe 15 to 20 minutes, you'll have the most beautiful cornbread you have ever tasted. Promise. Just because we're having some baked goodies doesn't mean we're doing anything wrong. All right, we're still eating healthy. You know all the ingredients that are in here. There's no preservatives, nothing. Right? It's all natural ingredients, which is what we want. We always want to use food as medicine, because when we do that, something incredible happens. We start to feel better emotionally, mentally, and physically. And isn't that what we all want? It's not about big changes, confusing diet plans, or even dangerous miracle pills. It's simple. It's cornbread. And here, we'll always do it one plate at a time. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Hey, Chef Rich here, and I want to officially introduce you to my one plate herb salt. Now, this is the perfect all-in-one seasoning that I carefully handcrafted to enhance any dish. Now, our proprietary herb blend not only provides delicious flavor, but also offers antioxidant and anti-inflammatory properties for the health-conscious eater. Now, it's also packed with vitamins and minerals, and that green hue comes from the natural chlorophyll found in fresh herbs. To get some for yourself, visit our website.